Okay. I hope you guys can all see my screen. If not, well, I'll be watching the recording. So, okay, great. So I'm super excited to have you guys on and to learn about how to have successful booths and events. Like I mentioned, I really like doing booths and events for the fall. It's a great way to meet new people. It's a great way to network. Thanks. Everyone can see my screen. Oh, yay, good. Now we're in business. Awesome. Okay. So today I put together just some tips I have found, and just to, I guess, qualify my experience and my, I'm not an expert by any means, but I will say I don't know how many booths I've done. I can't even count the number of booths and events I've done, not just with Younique, but with my other direct sales business over a span of 7 years. So these tips and ideas and suggestions I'm taking from, gosh, maybe 50-plus events that I've done throughout the years. So I'm definitely, again, not an expert, but hopefully some of the tips and things that I've learned can help you as well. So, okay. So, again, booths rock because you can talk to a lot of people in a concentrated amount of time, but not all booths are created equal, okay? So you can find booths in a variety of different ways, and some of it you may have to get a little creative, okay? So if a lot of events have been taken in your area, start getting creative. So I'm going to give you some suggestions of where I find events. A lot of times if you go on Craigslist, you'll see people that advertise their events or asking for vendors, so advertising for vendors. I'm on Facebook, and especially if you're in buy and sell group, you'll see advertisements pop up for craft and Christmas bazaars and events and things like that. So also, I would highly, highly suggest that you join some Facebook groups that have to do with either direct selling or local events. So in Arizona, I belonged to something that was called East Valley Events. It was specifically for businesses or groups to announce upcoming events that were, going on. You can also belong to just a direct selling networking group. A lot of times they will share, hey, I found out about this event, or I'm going to be starting an event, who wants to join? Which leads me to my next thing, which is networking. So it's very, very smart to network with other business builders, other direct sellers outside of Younique. Get to be friends with, Stella and Dot and even Mary Kay. Anyone that does direct sales, they will be really valuable for you, and you'll be really valuable for them. So you can network together. So contact those that you know that do direct sales and say, hey, do you know of any upcoming events that are going on? Or if you find out about upcoming events, let me know. And then once you're at an event, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, but network with the other vendors next to you. Take their card. A lot of times, some people that do direct sales are also in charge of events. I know a friend of mine that does Origami Al and Gilbert. She co-chairs. She partners with another friend, and they put on the Paisley Pumpkin Boutique in Gilbert. It's a huge thing. So just because someone, does direct sales doesn't mean they also might not be hosting their own event. So that's really great, too. Rec centers, local rec centers. So every rec center, usually one in a city will have some kind of fall or winter event. Schools often have fall fairs, spring fairs. Not every school does, but literally just take your elementary school list and go down, start checking on the list. High schools even often have fundraisers and things like that. And then expo centers, big, just think of all the different big convention centers, things like that. You can go online and actually search for, craft fairs, bridal fairs, things like that in your area, home, beauty. Just start getting creative. I actually just did an event, a fitness competition. The event was so-so, but I still made sales and got some really good connections. So, kind of get creative at what type of events you decide to do. Before I get to what to have on him, let me go back just a second. I was going to add another slide in here, but when you decide to do an event, please do your research first, okay? So you want to find out how they're going to advertise their event. You want to find out, is this their first year of doing the event? If it is, you may just caution that I'm telling you, people that put on events and organizers, they learn a lot from their first couple times of doing it. So if it's their first year, you may want to give some suggestions to them if you've done events before, or, just be aware they may not have it all totally together. But how they advertise is super important. Are they going to have advertising on the street to bring in local street traffic? It drives me up the wall when I go to an event, and it's hard to find, and there are no signs on the street. I just want to scream. Not really scream, but inside I'm just thinking, oh, my gosh, what a huge missed opportunity for all the street traffic to come into your facility. So you need to know those kind of things. If they've done it before, how many people did they have last year? How many people are they expecting? So those are all really good questions to ask. And then one of the best things, if they've done it before, find out the vendors that were there the year before and message them and say, how was the event? That will give you a really true picture of if the event, was a success for them or not. So that's always a good thing. All right. So what do I have on hand? Okay, so if you're doing an event, you're usually investing some money. And events don't have to cost a lot. Sometimes you'll find local events for, especially like with schools, $25, $15. Maybe they want a donation. $60, $75. You can stay under $100 for events if you want to. There are a lot of larger events that can be a huge success for you, and you don't have to do it by yourself. So if you see an event that's $400, $600, $1,000, don't just dismiss that as, oh, I can't do that because I don't have the money. Find people to split it up with. Okay, if it's a big booth that's $1,000, you will need more people to do it with you. You'll be overwhelmed if it's just you. So find other people to share it with. Contact me, use our group, say, hey, I want to do this booth, I have secured it, I need this many people, we'll split it up, it'll be $100 each. That makes it really affordable. So what to have on hand? You definitely want to have lashes on hand, cash and carry if you're in the U.S., or I think once December hits around Canada, you'll be able to do this too. Cindy Brancato suggests having 10 per 1,000 people. I suggest having 10 minimum, no matter what the size of the booth is. At least have 10. I've done a really small booth. I sold out of 10. So always have at least 10. I've heard of people selling anywhere from 60 to 85 at larger events. So that's a pretty awesome event. Have other products on hand to sell. Now, you don't have to go crazy, and if lashes are the only thing you can invest in, do that. But if you can use your hostess rewards, some things I have found that sell very well are the pigments. I usually stick to neutral colors like sexy, confident, maybe infatuated. And what I do is I have a couple cards I printed out that have looks on them. So they've got somebody with those pigments on their eyeshadow, on their eyelids, and then I've got the colors written down next to it. So I can show someone a couple of different cards. I've got probably about a dozen of them, but I can show them a few different cards and say, which, looks do you like the best? And when they point to the one they like, I can say, great, these are the colors that come with that. And guess what? You can bundle them and get 4 for, whatever a set of 4 is. So I buy my pigments either with my hostess rewards or with sets. So I get them a little bit cheaper than the retail. And then when I sell them separately, I sell them for full retail. So I'm actually making more than 25% or whatever your commission is. I also think it's a good idea to have the liners on sale. I've heard those are super hot to sell with the mascara, with the lashes. So do a deal. Hey, you can't offer special incentives, but bundle them together is what I'm saying, okay? Whatever products you have on hand and that you're focusing on, that is what you will sell. Banners and prints, have some really nice banners. I'll show you guys a couple different displays. Flyers, business cards, you definitely want something to pass out to them. Again, products to display, and it doesn't have to be fancy. If you just have your kit, that is perfectly fine. I joined on a Tuesday, I think. I got my kit on a Friday, and I had events that night. I was so glad I got my kit because I was just going to have flyers. So I had my first event with just my kit. I didn't have business cards. I went to Office Max. I got some prints done, but that was it. It was still a success. So don't worry about what you have or what you don't have. Just use what you have. Contact cards and pens. I actually think this is more important than business cards. You can hand out flyers all day. You may never hear back from those people. It is so important to get their information. If you want to do a drawing as a way to collect information, that's totally fine. I don't really like drawings, to be honest. I do feel like they kind of draw people toward your table so that you can touch them a little bit more. So for that aspect of it, you can, especially if people are walking by, you can kind of walk outside your table and say, hey, would you like to join our drawing? they'll come over, and then you can talk about the products. But I don't like having a drawing just for the means of collecting names, because for me, I want quality names. If I'm going to take time to follow up with people after the event, I don't want a lot of people that are interested. I really only want people that are interested. So that's just my thought on that. Contact cards, you either have a clipboard or you can actually get your contact cards printed up in a pad of paper at your local print shop. So that's really nice too. Okay, make it easy for people to sample your products. All of your, if you have lip glosses that you're going to sample, again, you don't have to have an extravagant display. I've been doing this for a year. So I happen to have every lip gloss color. You don't have to have that. You can get a picture with the lip gloss colors on it, okay? But if you have the lip glosses there, like I have, and again, I've gotten through Hostess Rewards and throughout the year, then I need to have applicators because people are going to want to try them on these lips, and that's kind of gross and unsanitary for all using the same lip gloss. I use cotton swabs for the pigments, or you can use a brush, and I have my pigments all open. So I don't want anyone having to open things because if they have to open it, they won't try it. They're going to be hesitant. So if you have it all open and inviting, try different colors, and I invite them in, and I can't think of the word. I initiate. There we go. I initiate the sampling. I don't wait for them to say, oh, I want to sample it. I say, okay, so sample it. Give me your hand. In a nice way, of course. Okay, be ready for orders. You are going to get orders, so you need to be ready for them. I purchased a sales receipt book just from Office Max. It's a way for me to keep track of my cash and carry, which, by the way, is very important. I feel like it helps me stay organized. I know cash going in, cash going out. Plus, it helps me to be able to give them a receipt. So the other option you can do is you can take the order form Younique has created, go to a print shop, and have them print carbon copy for you so you can give a receipt. You need an ability to take a credit card. You have to be able to take a credit card. I'm just telling you that. I did an event 2 weeks ago, and I didn't take any cash. Every single person gave me a credit card. So if you don't have a way to take a credit card, you won't be able to do cash and carry at your event. If you're not doing cash and carry, then you can have order forms there, and you can take their credit card information. Make sure you include the shipping because you want to be able to ship right to them. I have done an event where I told them they ran out of my cash and carry at an event last Christmas, and I decided to let people know, hey, I ran out, but I'm going to do free shipping for anyone that orders. I'll deliver it to you. So I was going to take their orders, send it to me, and then deliver it. But even if you do that, you still can't run the credit card through Younique. You still have to be able to take a Square. So the only way you can run the credit card through Younique is if you ship to them. So just keep that in mind. You want to have order forms with the product on there, or, again, the sales receipt book is fine because you can write the product name on there, but you need at least a price list or catalog so you have the prices for everything. If you are going to take cash, make sure you have change. And then if you want to be sophisticated, have little bags for them to take with them. You can find really cute black bags that you can put the product in, their receipt, your card, hand them their bag, and they're just going to be, even a little bit more happy about their whole experience with you. Okay, have a great setup. So I mentioned you don't have to be extravagant. It can be simple. There are some key elements I think you need to have for sure at your booth, and then some other things that are just kind of a plus. So I wanted to show this. We actually have an even more awesome banner in our back office now through Vistaprint if you're in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., talk to some in the U.S. about how you can get your hands on a file. We actually have another file in our image library too. So if you have the ability to get a banner, I think this is a great way to be eye-catching and draw people in. I also love having mirrors. So have a fun setup for you to put your product on, something fun and shiny. You also want to have some prints. Again, super cheap. If you just got your kit and you just use your kit and you have some great images on, that you printed locally in your frame, you're going to do great. So I love this. They have a picture of eyes. They have the 3D lashes. They have a picture of the business kit, very important, and they have the picture of the monthly special. So you don't always have to have don't have your own special. Just focus on whatever special Younique is doing. So this month, I'm going to focus on the Gorgeous. Okay, here's a couple other examples. One thing I like about this one is they added levels, and they made it interesting. So our products tend to be kind of on the small side, right? So if we had the products all on the table, it would be very boring, and you really need it to be eye-catching. So again, you can just have your kit, but add some levels. So they have some little bookcase things here. This looks like a larger event, but they have a big mirror. Okay, that's a good thing to have. I thought this was a really cute event. She had a pink tablecloth. By the way, purple and black is something that is in right now for Halloween. So I purchased some purple material at Joann's last year for super, super cheap during Halloween. So just a little plug for Joann's there. But you can see she's got the logo. She's got eyes. She's got some before and afters. You can have a picture of the kit right here. Okay. Let's show a few more. Again, it doesn't have to be extravagant. You can see a lot of people have pictures. They've got their products out here. Mirrors are a really good plus. I like the levels here. So if you have boxes, bring those. You can put your tablecloth right over it. I have several boxes I bring. You can see how much more interesting this is to have levels versus just all flat. Get a cute container just to put brushes or your lip glosses in. She's got applicators right here, before and after picture. I don't hand out catalogs, but it's not a bad idea to have some on hand. If I have someone interested in the business, I would love to share a catalog with them. Oh, and then she's got a little drawing box here, so she can put names into there. Okay, and then it's not a bad idea also to have a chair. So oftentimes, vendor events will provide a chair for you. Okay, take it and put it in front of the table with a mirror and encourage people to sit and try on the colors. Oh, I already talked about this. So sell what you focus on. Whatever you focus on, that's what you'll sell. So product bundles are great. Focus on a collection. And what you can do is actually in your display is do either a picture of that collection if you don't have all those products. If you do have all the products, put the name of the collection and the price of it right there and save 20%. That's huge. You want to show them what they're saving. And then put all the products that come in that collection right in front. So you can talk about, hey, 3D Lush, and this, oh my gosh, but if you love that, you should really get this collection because you'll save this much money. So focus on that. All right, this is something that I totally believe in, and not all direct sellers do, which is interesting to me. No sitting at your booth. No sitting. If I ever saw anyone on my team sitting, okay, this is coming from tough love, I come over there and give you a little, hey, get up. Okay, you just paid for an event. Don't sit. If you're pregnant, okay, or have health issues, that's totally fine. But if you're able to stand, you need to stand. I never sit, and I hardly ever stand behind my table. I hate standing behind my table, unless that is the absolute only way I can be there at my event, if they've organized the tables that way, but I hate it. I am in front of my table. I am walking out to people in the aisle in front of me. I'm drawing them in. I'm showing them my lashes. I'm bringing them back to the table. I am fully involved with the person there. I don't even bring a chair to events. I don't ever sit. Never. Ever. So, don't sit. And then the other thing, too, I wanted to add on to this was you make your event, okay? So let me say it one more time. You make the event. If your event stinks, okay, you do something about it. You make the best of your event. So I want to tell you a quick story. A few years ago, for my other business, I did an event at a consignment cell. That's another great place to an event that a lot of people don't think of. It's a place where parents drop off their clothes for kids, toys for kids, things like that, and then sell them there, and they make a percentage. So they have this whole warehouse full of kids stuff, and so it's parents and grandparents coming through consistently for the most part. So I went to this consignment cell, and I set up a table, and the vendors were in a terrible spot. We were all in the back corner. I don't think the guy really wanted us there, the organizer. He just said, okay, if you want to pay, you can be here. So we're all back there, and there's a jewelry lady, there's a book lady, there's Sensi, there's, maybe two other people there. We're all kind of in the back. And I swear, every single vendor was sitting down behind their table. And it was kind of slow in this event. I will admit, it was kind of slow. And I felt like, maybe we weren't in the best place. And so I asked them, I said, hey, do you want me to go ask, the guy in charge if we can move our tables? And they all said, oh, no, I'm already set up. The Sensi lady had like 50 boxes of warmers. What a pain to move. I said, okay, suit yourself. I went and talked to the organizer. Again, he was kind of nonchalant. He said, whatever, as long as you're not blocking, the product, because it's the most important. I said, no problem, I won't. I moved my table to the center aisle, and I worked it. So everyone else sat behind their table, and I swear, they complained the whole event. Oh, my gosh, this event stinks. The jewelry lady left after the first day. She didn't come back for the rest of the event. It's like a 3-4 day event. I walked around, and I told people, hey, I've got a drawing at my table. I don't know if you had a chance to come by. Here's a flyer. Come on by and check it out. I had $500 in sales for that event. I did the best out of everyone at that event. And it's not because my product was better. It's because I made the most of the event, and I hustled. I made sure I was not assertive, what's the word? Gracefully assertive, not aggressive, gracefully assertive. Okay? So if you're there to work the booth. Get all dressed up, okay? You want to have one eye with the 3D fiber lashes and one eye with regular mascara. Don't do one eye with nothing, because people will say, well, of course that's going to look better than nothing. Of course. They want to know how it compares to what they're wearing right now. Okay? One eye with 3D and one eye with regular. And then you need to talk it up. Again, gracefully assertive. That's the key. I am not a totally outgoing person. You'd be surprised. I know. Maybe. If you know me in person, I'm actually more on the quiet side. But I'm just kind of get in performance mode, I guess. I used to perform a lot in high school, and I just do a switch. I go from shy to performance outgoing. So talk it up. You want to make sure that you're friendly, outgoing, talking to people. Don't wait for people to talk to you, okay? And draw people in your booth. A lot of times you'll see people that will walk by your booth, and just because they don't initiate and they don't come over to you, that doesn't mean they wouldn't be interested. Okay? You don't know if they're going to be interested. They may not even know what you have to offer. They may not even have looked at it. So reach out to them, and you don't have to be obnoxious. I know some of you are like me, and you walk through the mall, and you avoid eye contact with the guys at the kiosk, right, that are selling, I don't know, barbecue tools and watches and those little hair scenty things. So you don't have to be a crazy person. But be engaging, be exciting, be happy, and draw them over to you. Make sure you have a 30-second pitch. Okay? So mine goes something like this, and you can kind of start it a few different ways. It's super easy just to say, hey, hi, have you ever heard of Younique? That's super easy. Oh my gosh, have you guys seen this new mascara? You have to check it out. Okay, you're going to flip over this. I'll check out my eyes. So this is one eye with the 3D lashes, and this is one eye without. Can you guys tell the difference? And you'll say, oh my gosh, wow, yeah, that's a big difference. Okay, so here's how it works. And I have my my own demo set in my hands, all ready to go. I don't have the case with me, but I have the two tubes in my hand. Yes, check out how easy this is. So it goes on just like mascara, and I'll pull out the gel. So first you put the gel on, one nice coat, and then this is the secret weapon. Check this out. So you take these fibers, they're made from 100% natural green tea leaves, and you apply them right onto your lashes, and it literally extends your lashes right in front of you. And then you apply another coat of the gel just to fill it in. And you can layer it if you want to make it more dramatic. And it's super easy to take off. Comes off with your favorite face wash or your eye makeup remover. And check out this cute case that it comes in. That's it. Super easy. And then ask some questions, or you could even start out with a question, hey, so do you wear mascara? That's super easy. The other thing I wanted to add to this is don't ever prejudge. Never prejudge. So I did an event this spring, actually. It was at a preschool. That's another good place to check. They were doing kind of a gift event for their parents there. So we had two rooms, and I was set up in one room, and other vendors in another room. So we had about 6 vendors in our little room. And so we had parents coming through around to check out the products. And I was talking to people and having a pretty decent event. And I had a lady come in, and I don't mean to describe her in a rude way or anything like that, but she was not feminine at all. She was very broad shoulders, very tall. She had no makeup on. She had her hair, in a ponytail and, just kind of wearing, I guess, yoga pants and like a sweatshirt. That was, if you can picture that. So I looked at her, and I thought kind of to myself, do I even bother with even saying anything? She obviously doesn't wear makeup. She doesn't look like she's someone that would be interested in makeup. Is it even worth my time? But there wasn't really a lot of other people in the room at the moment. So she came over to me. So I did my 30-second spiel. Hey, my gosh, have you heard of Younique? Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. And I swear, this was her response. Oh, my gosh, I love makeup. Oh, my gosh, I love eyeshadows. Ooh, what colors? Oh, my gosh, this is so pretty. So we tried eyeshadows on her hand. She bought the most out of every single person at that event. Everybody. So, and that's happened to me more than once, where I've looked at someone and thought, they're not wearing makeup, do I even bother talking with them? And they purchase usually the most out of everybody. So never prejudge, not somebody old, not somebody young, you have no idea who's really going to be interested, or maybe they're looking for gifts for somebody else that's interested. So the best thing you can do is once you draw them into your booth is to get people trying the product on their hands or face or wherever they want, okay? The more people try, the more they buy. People want to know how it's going to look on them. So one thing I do is I have my primer, and I'll use the primer on their hands, and I like to ask questions. So I'll say, instead of saying, would you like to try the eyeshadows? Because people are busy, and they're going to be like, no, that's okay, I don't need to bother you. No. I bring them over, and I say, great, let's try some eyeshadows. Do you prefer browns or blues? Give them a choice. Do you prefer neutrals or dramatic? Whatever kind of questions you want to ask. But try to avoid yes or no questions. What kind of primer do you wear? What kind of mascara do you currently wear? Do you prefer powder, cream foundation, or liquid foundation? What's the shade of blush that you usually like? So get asking questions. People feel more comfortable when you are asking them questions and they're doing most of the talking. Okay? They'll feel that connection with you if you let them do the talking. So ask a lot of questions and get their hand all painted up with all different colors. And again, I like to do a look. So if you've got some cards, I just went and did like 4x6 photo cards. So print out some pictures of eyes with the shadows on them and say, yeah, pick a look that you like and we'll try it on your hand. If you don't have those, then remember, you're the expert, so suggest a look for them. Let me tell you the colors that I love. So I love using this Confident as kind of a mid-tone, and I just take their hand and I just start putting it on their hand. I don't even really ask permission. This Sexy is so pretty on everybody, and honestly, they'll be saying, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Ooh, wow, that's really pretty. Yeah, and then you can add a color. Now, do you like browns, purples, blues, greens? What's your favorite kind of accent color? Oh, yeah, well, that looks okay with green. Okay, let's put this here. So I want to create a look for them so that they're not buying just one. They're going to buy a set of 3 to 4. And then again, whatever products you have on hand, get them trying out. Oh, let me go back to this. So you're going to have a question about the mascara. Can I sample the mascara? I don't know any professional makeup place that lets you sample mascara. They just don't. We don't either. Now, it's up to you if you want to have disposable wands and to use one of your sets that haven't been personally used and use sample wands with them. That's totally up to you. And I'll be honest, I've done events with both. I don't know if I really noticed the difference between sales with both necessarily, but what I do find really helps is to sample the product on me. So if you have eye makeup remover wipes, you can have those at your table and literally show them how easy it is to wipe off. Say, yeah, let me show you how it goes on and comes off. So you take it off your one eye and then you sample it back on. Be a little careful of just continuing to layer and layer and layer on one eye, because I find if it dries and you layer it and then it dries and layer it, it might get kind of a clumpy type of a look. So it's better to show them taking it off and then putting it back on. And honestly, most people to purchase the lashes, all they need to know is how does it work and does it work. And as long as they know those two things and they're happy with the results and the price point is fine for them, they're sold. And they'll buy right off the table. Be happy. People are attracted to happy, positive energy. Okay? Be bubbly. Be the happiest version of yourself. Oh my gosh, Mal, that looks awesome on you. That color would look great on you. Yes, just be nodding your head up and down. That's a psychology trick. Be smiling, okay? They're going to be reflective of whatever you are. So if you're happy and positive, they're going to start smiling, and they're just going to be happy just being around you. So just exude that positive energy. Okay, another good tip is to sell to the vendors. I probably sell half my product to the tables around me. So connect with the other vendors. If you have a slow moment or you have two people working the table, take a few minutes to go by and give out your card to the other vendors, take their card, ask them about their product. Oh, what's this? Oh, I've heard of Jamboree. That's so awesome. Oh, yeah, well, I have a catalog. You can totally check it out during the event and just bring it back when you're done. Let them know what you're doing, and they've probably heard of Younique before. Oh my gosh, I've heard of Younique. I saw them at another event that I was doing. Oh, have you tried it before? Oh my gosh, you got to try it. We haven't tried it yet. Start connecting with them, networking with them. It's really valuable to network with other vendors. And then really quick before I talk about follow-up, last thing is to assume the sale. So when somebody is there at your table, remember, they know you're selling something. So don't just default to, fill out this card and I'll send you some more information. Be bold, ladies, be bold. Have that sales receipt right there. Have your lashes right there in your hand and say, yes, let's get these rings up for you so you can take them home with you. Or you can ask them, okay, so are you ready to take them home with you? It's just $32 and you'll be able to try them on tonight. Talk in language that you're assuming they're already going to purchase them. Oh my gosh, when you take these home with you tonight, you are going to love them and all of your friends are going to be jealous. When you put this on tonight, your husband is totally going to notice. You'll have to text me a picture of when you put these on tonight after you purchase them. Okay, talk in that kind of language. If you have order forms, if you don't have product on hand, get out your order form on a clipboard and hand it to the person. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pick which of the products you like the best. I'm curious. Do that, okay? Assume the sell. They know you're there to sell something. If you don't ask them for the sell, they will not give it to you. I take that back. Sometimes with the 3D lashes, they'll say, oh my gosh, I want to buy that right now. That does happen. But assume the sell, ask for the sell. Super important. Okay, follow up. This is so, so important, even if you sell a bunch at your event, okay? Remember, you are not at the event just to sell. You're there to find hostesses, and you're especially there to find presenters. That's the most important thing. So you've got these contact cards or notebook or however you collected information. You need to follow up. So here's a really hot tip. If you have time at your table, if it's not crazy busy, and you're talking with somebody, connect on Facebook. Ask them, hey, are you on Facebook on your phone? The odds that they're on Facebook on their phone are really pretty high. They say yes, say, great, let's connect on Facebook. So I'll have you friend me on Facebook. So have them go on Facebook on their account, and then you type in your profile. So you need to know the link to your profile. Type that in, and then click send friend request. And then when you get home, you accept their friend request, and you can message them and say, oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you today. Here's the tips for the lashes. You can add them to a customer group if you have. You can send them a link. But basically now they're connected on Facebook to you, unless they, unfriend you in the future. So when you start posting about your business and your products and how excited and how fun it is, they're going to see that. And it works. Trust me, it works. Okay? Send out an email that night. If you've collected email addresses from people, send out something that night. The fortune is not just in the follow-up. The fortune is in the immediate follow-up. If you wait a week, that lead has gone cold. They're going to forget who you are. You need to send it out right away, that night, or at least within 48, no more than 72 hours. If it's a hot lead, if it's somebody that's interested in the business or hosting, call or text them. Emails get lost. They don't get responded to. Facebook is better than emails. Text is probably the best thing, even maybe better than calls. And ask them. On my contact cards, I have a little box that says okay to text and a question mark. If they put that there, then I'm going to text them because people respond to text. They may look at an email and say, okay, that's cool, but they won't spend the time to respond. People get a text, they respond right away. Oh, yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay? Offer bulk order for local. So if you have people that are local, again, if you want to, totally optional, but after the event, you can say, hey, I'm collecting a bulk order, so if you'd like to get free shipping, I'm going to collect orders, and you can pay me cash when I drop it off. So that's especially if they didn't have cash or they don't want to use their card or anything like that. So that's pretty much our information about doing events. So events are really great. And again, if you don't have something coming up, create your own event. You can do an open house, find a location, find some vendors to organize it with, get some advertising, and do it on your own. But otherwise, find some local events. With Younique being a little bit bigger than it was last year, quite a bit bigger. We had 3,000 presenters when I joined, and now we have over 100,000. You will need to look at in advance if you want to do events. So if some of the fall events might already be taken, look ahead to the spring and get those, squared away and all down. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Events are great, so go out and do them. All right. Have a fabulous night, and talk to you guys later. Bye.